This Daf Yerushalmi Eruvin in the article Oz V'Hada edition. We are on Daf Yud Tes Amud Aleph, right after the Mishnah, which began on Yud Ches Amud Beis. So Rabbi Loi, which is 5 lines down, and that is in the Vilna on Yud Zayin Amud Beis, a different girsa. Yeah. Actually, no, it's not a different girsa. The article has a header. The article has a header. I'm Rabbi Loi Shemati Rabbi Eliezer, which is from the beginning of our Mishnah. And the article does not have the header, just starts Rabbi Avo B'Shem Rabbi Eliezer. But mentioning our Mishnah, said, I'm Rabbi Loi Shemati Rabbi Eliezer. I feel who could base core. You can even carry in a carp of the size of a base core. And so Rav Oshem said in here there are two different girsos. One has been machlekes, which is the girsa in the Vilna, in the other has been mislaketes, which is the girsa in the article, which the article then changes to ben machlekes, but the Shnei Schos has changed the girsa from ben machlekes to mislaketes, and the two different shatim based on which girsa you learn. I'm going to learn like the Pnei Moshe, which has girsa mislaketes. There says Pnei Moshe, Rav B'Shem says mislaketes osami base kor mesnisa. Klomar the lam be base kor mamashit. He didn't allow actually if you carry in a carpet which is the size of a base kor, which is 15 times the base osaim. Ela b'mislakim mokum base osaim it's base core. It's talking about where you have a large area which is a base core of which a base osaim is level ground. A base core midron. The base core itself was midron, was a sloping. Mislakim b'dol kashir base osaim if ne'atzah mokum midron. You have a level ground base osaim. You can carry that base osaim even if it's surrounded by 14 times as much slopes of land which is not straight. You can carry in that straight level land of that base osaim. There's another gears of machlekes in there. That would be a different shot, but we'll go with that shot of Moshe. Next, one person the chutz did not participate in the eruv, so then his house is also he's not allowed to carry in and out of his house after he's about those rishus, and they're not allowed to carry for him and out of his house after he's about those rishus to the anshe chutzer. Talmud Rabbanon. So the Gemara says that over there it's Rabbanon. So the Moshe says to Klomar the Hodet Nil Kama Bergvav Osir Beiso Lohen, that his house is Osir for them. We have such a Mishnah. That's Rabbanani. That's Rabbanon. Lo bita Ushus Beso. If he's about the Ushus of his chutz, not about the Ushus of his house. But here lead Rabbi Lezer who. Here's going to Rabbi Lezer and Rabbi Lezer. Then they can carry things in and out of his house, even though he cannot. So the Farish and it's now the Gemara goes on to explain their machlekes. So again, Tam and Rabbanan, their Rabbanan say it's also for them to carry in and of his house altogether. Mamhach Rabbi Lezer, but here's Rabbi Lezer who says you are. Rabbanan said, Adam Mabata Rishus, here we're going to change the gear, so like the Korban Eda, Rishus Chatzero. A person is Mabata Rishus of his Chatzer, and therefore they can carry in the Chatzer freely, but not in and of his house. Because Adam Mabata Rishus Beso. Not Chatzero, Beso, a person not Mabata Rishus of his bias. Lezer says therefore they can't create in his house, even for their own purposes. Lezer Mer Kashem Shadam Mevato Rishus Chatzero, just like a person again switching around. It's just a person about the Rishus of his Chatzer, Kam about the Rishus Beso. He's also about the Rishus of his house, and therefore they can carry for their own needs in and out of his house. So ask Gemara, fine. I'll die to Rabbi Lezer though, that you're saying that is about the Shus Beso, so he no longer is a resident, so to speak, in his Chatzer. So therefore he has to Kachsayin, let him be just like a guest. A guest in somebody else's house. It's their house. They can carry in and out. So let him be a guest. If he had mutzah, like any guest, the mutzah in the household of his host. So Rabbi Chia Bar Adu Shem Shem Lo is a knas comes to Rabbi Eliezer, since he didn't make the Erev on time with them, so therefore they find him, and therefore he is barred from carrying, and they can't even carry for him because he shouldn't participate in the Erev. So what's been astonished at this? Rabbi Simei Boy, Rabbi Simei asked, Dovish Midivreim is the Rabbanon Erev Chatzeros to cancel the B'shoigek, Rabbi Eliezer, you're kind of even. According to Rabbi Lezer, even according to Rabbi Lezer, says he is Mavato the shoes of his house. Okay, according to Rabbanan, so he wasn't Mavato the shoes of his house, so we have nothing to do, right? He's not, but he can't regard him as a guest. According to Rabbi Lezer, we're going to be kind of same after he's Mavato the shoes of his house, and the Gemara doesn't answer the question. That leaves it quite difficult, but yeah, he is evidently he is being kind of him. The Gemara goes on and asks a related question. Rabbi Ba, Breda Puppy Boy, Rabbi Ba, the son of Rabbi Puppy asked. He said, okay, I am Batush in my house. According to Rabbi Lezer, of course, that works. We're going to ask him in Rabbanan. Let's say a guy says explicitly, Bato Mishus in my house. After Rabbanan Moide, does the Rabbanan can see the point in that case? Like Pnei Moshe says, can he, if he does explicitly, is it a Mevato? Or I say no, it's the people don't do that. Lav Kol, he doesn't have the wherewithal. No, I think it means like Butler Daito. It's not effective. And conversely, it says Amar Aleph Reish. I wonder what the article has. The just changed it to Amar. It's changed to Amar as well. Amar, according to Rabbi Lezer, that's a little chasim in a safer. But Amar, according to Rabbi Lezer, we assume that it was about the rishus of his house, when he's about the rishus of his house, not just chaser. But when he says explicitly, it's about only his chaser. So Amar Lezer, about the rishus chatzeri. Says only about the rishus of his chaser. So after Lezer can see that point that he's not being about to his house, and people can't carry inside and outside of his house. The Gumnei Moshe says, we love Kokmi. Do we say no? He doesn't have the wherewithal to do that. Mishum, the base of Blochatel of the Inchi direct. His butler died to call them again. People don't live in a house without a chotzer, so therefore, even though he said only Rishus Chatzeri, it includes the house as well, regardless of the way he phrased it. So the Pnei Moshe learns that both these things are questions. It sounds to Kormei that this boy is a statement, but maybe not. Okay, but we know sometimes boy in Yerushalmi is a statement. Okay, so if it was a statement, it would be a statement. Then to say probably boy, where it stated on my rain about the shusmesi, Avram boy it would work. On my rain about the shusmesi, after Rabbi Lezer moded that it wouldn't work. Okay. We heard that we said in the Mishnah that according to Rabbi Loy heard Rabbi Lezer that you're to that Krabin on Pesach, which is a type of mora. Have it certain memar a Krabin. So they want to say that which it says at the end of the Mishnah, because lo chaver lo matzasi. Because it's only going on Akrabanin. They never found anybody else, any other person heard Rabbi Lezer that Yoetzi was more, but the other things he had heard, the other Talmidim had heard similar things from Rabbi Lezer. Ashkechtani, they found in the advice that says Al Kulon, that all of them, he said, because you chaver v'lo matzasi, said Lashon. Yeah, okay, switching gears. Now we go on to Yerushalmi Eruvin, but this is about Erev Tchumen, not about Erev Chatzeros. Yerushalmi Eruvin Mishtatfim. You can use for Erev Tchumen and for Shita Mevos. Erev Chatzeros is specifically bread. But for Erev Tchumen and Shuvos, you can use any edible substance, except for salt and water and salt, because they're not called mazel. We should read the Korban here. This does elaborate a bit. The time of the Eruv Mishum the Daita with the Rosa Makom Zanaisa. And the reason for Eruv because his das and his dira is his intent and his dwelling place of his Zainasu. Became a Shinasu, Korban Echotz, name is Zainab by Isachas. Okay, since when they all put their muzzle in one house, Nasa Kilu Kulam Darim Besoicho, Ninsakum Mishus Achas. That's really dumb. Where it has Dafki Pastor talking about Vos, but same principle. And also Erev Chumin, right? Wherever he puts down his muzzle, that's his place for that Shabbos, is Iker Shvisa. So it has to be something which is muzzle. But you can buy anything with Meiser Sheni money in Yerushalayim when you redeem it to buy food in Yerushalayim, except for water and salt. Conversely, if you take a nether not to eat any mazon, allowed to eat water and salt. Marvin the nazir behind, you can make an error for a nazir with wine even though he can't drink it. With Yisrael b'truma, you make an error for Yisrael b'truma even though he can't eat it. Since it's Muslim for other people, so therefore it has a chalesh shem Muslim, it works. Sumul says the takes out the af here. So whether you take it or not, it's b'chulin l'koyin bebeis hapras. You make an air for a kohen with chulin, even in a base of pras, and the I sorry, I made a mistake. Sorry, I know why it takes down. Sumu b'chulin. No, you have to. Yisrael can't use truma. You have to use chulin. That was a bad mistake. For truma, for kohen, for Yisrael, you have to use truma. You can't use chulin. You can't use truma. It has to be something which you can eat. Now, next case. The you can make a mayor for kohen based on pras. Even a base pras, a place where there's a suffix tuma, and the kohen's not supposed to go in there. There are ways to get in there. You can sweep the area, like mine sweeping it. Sweep by blowing and making sure there are no bones wherever you're walking. So therefore, even though it's he's not going to go in there. Not going to be much that way to do it under normal circumstances at least. Nevertheless, you can make it's suitable for him, and therefore you can make an Erev Kohen base of pras. I feel bad at Kvaros, not just in the base of pras where there's a suffix, there's two or not. I feel bad at Kvaros, even between grapes. You can go and make a mechitza between themselves and the kever, and not make an oel. So they can go in a box or something like that. So and therefore it's okay. The Rabbi points out, pluk to the Rabbi Rabbanim o zork. The Rabbi Sfilish Shemei Oel. Therefore, even though when he's moving in that box, it's still considered to be Oel. It's a chatzit pshim and a tuma. Rabbanim having lo Shemei Oel. Rabbanim say that no, Oel zork is la Shemei Oel, and therefore that moving tends not tent, therefore there's no way for them to enter Beis HaKvaros. Okay, says Gemara, Rabbi Achor, Rabbi Achor said Rabbi Eliezer, our mission is like Rabbi Eliezer. The thing that we learned there, become Arvin with Shakfin, and anything you can make an Erev and a sheet of Chutzim and Mayim Melech, except for water and salt, Div Rabbi Eliezer, which seems to be exactly Lo Shabar Mishnah. Now, the Reb Chaim puts in here the words, Rabbi Yeshua Omer Ein Ma'arvin. Rabbi Yeshua says you can't make an Erev, which is a paraphrase of the Mishnah later on at the end of the 7th parak. It says, you have to use a loaf of bread for an Eruv. So it's the same thing. You can't do Marvin except with bread. So our Mishnah seems not to be going like Rabbi Yeshua. I'm Rabbi Yeshua. No, Divya Koli. No, it can be like going to everybody. The Arvin, b'chatzeros. That which had a machlokes is about erev chatzeros. That machlokes is Rabbi Yeshua. Umishtatfin bein b'chatzeros. So the Chaim changes to mevos. Umishtatfin because Meshita was mavoi. Umishtatfin. Umishtatfin bein b'mevos bein b'tchumin. In our mission, we're talking about shituf, not about erev. And that even Rabbi Yeshua agrees. That was Shad Machlok is by Erev Chatzeros. We're talking about the Erev Tchumen and Shidduchim Vos. And that even, maybe Yeshua can agree, does agree. The next Gemara, there's several different possibilities of Gersa changes. I wrote the side of my Gemara, but you do have to do some change. So we're going to do it like Reb Chaim. So, Mastisa Drai Meir, our mission is going to Meir. The Tani, we're going to Kol Chai Kamoshu. Anything which can eat in raw as is, Ma'arvin Bo. You can be Ma'arv with it, which so far is like our Mishnah. But then it says, Ima Pas Ein Ma'arvin Bo, with something which is only eaten together with bread. So then you can't make an Erev with it by itself. And there, the Chaim, he adds on, Remer Ma'arvin. Meir says, no, you can't make an Erev with it. So our Mishnah, which doesn't differentiate between whether you're going to use it eaten with bread, doesn't eat with not eaten with bread, that's going like your Meir. Hashum b'tzolim, but garlic and onions. Al daiter Meir, even going to Meir, aim arim bohen. You can't use it to make an Erev. The time you learned Amra Yehuda, where Yehuda taught us, Ma'aser Shabbos and Meir adaksem. Meir once by Shabbos and Darksem. Uva Achad, a person came, V'amar said he arrived there, made an Erev Tchumen to get here. I did b'tzolim by onions. V'sher Meir b'arba amos shelo. Meir kept him within his 4 amos. So he left the Tchum without a proper Erev, and if you left Tchum without a proper Erev, then you can't. You can only go 4 amos. And the reason why shum and botzel you can't use the garlics and onions is because they're not considered to be food; they're a tavlin, and evidently they're not even considered to be that which accompanies the bread. So you can't use tchumen according to Meir. Orel, that's one pshat right with Chaim. Another pshat he gives is that you can't eat raw onions and garlic unless you fix them in at least a little bit. And Erev has to be edible completely as is. It can be edible raw, but as completely as is without fixing it even a little bit. Okay, so and that's what it says. I forgot that Meir Omer Marbachom Arvin Yishat Mechutz Hamayim Melch V'Adav Shunecha K'mos Chai. It has to be something which can be eaten raw as K'mos Shehu, as is. And this can mean raw as is, either because it's only a tavlin or because it requires at least some sort of tikkun before it's considered to be actually edible. Haluf al kulkus al daitid rabbanon emarvim. So some question with luf and kulkus. They're like mushrooms. They grow from. They grow from. They're like fungi. They don't grow from the ground. They grow from the air. But the other Mefarshim say that it's a type of food which is not normally eaten at all without a tikkun. It's even that they're type of onions, but an onion which for sure is not eaten with a tikkun. So even when Rabban holds that some which eat k'moshu chai, these are not eaten at all k'moshu chai, and therefore you can't use them to make an erev tchumen or shidduchim vos. Okay, that brings us to the end of the in the article, you test some base, Mamshien, so we'll stop here for today. It's relatively short by urban standards.